Good morning, and it's Friday, and the house is clean. So here we go. We start the day off, and I just came back from my parents' place actually because I had stored some apples there. So now they're all frozen, and that's interesting. Yeah, they're quite frozen. So there's these, and I got a bunch more in the freezer as well, which is the laundry room looks more like a jungle now. But I got a bunch in there. I'm gonna just transfer them over to buckets. I'll get more as needed, and then I'm gonna let them thaw out in the buckets, and then from the buckets I will put them into a mesh bag, and from that mesh bag it'll go into the press. So I got a fruit press now. Now I originally got it for for honey, but it's meant for apples, so I'm going to use it. And I do have a mesh. There you go, little mesh bag. I can put the apples in there, and the idea is I'd like to make some juice, but I also like to make some cider. So is basically what I'm doing now with the vinegar. In all honesty, you can taste it. It's a weak cider right now. I don't know if it's gonna picks up, but you can see all those bubbles. It's pretty neat. And usually it's more, but already every morning I stamp them down again so that the apples are covered again, so they don't go moldy. Yeah, those are the 3 jars. Those I tend to be vinegar. So right now it's converting all the sugars to alcohol from the natural yeasts that are on them, and that's what I'm hoping to have here too. So all fruit and whatnot, there should be natural yeasts on them. If they're frozen, it should more go dormant, the yeast. So the idea is to press them, and then to put the juice into I got a bunch of glass carboys from the old winemaking days, and then see if those get started up. I got small and I got big ones, so I'll see where that goes, and then it'll be an interesting process. See how that turns out, and because it's going to be a natural fermentation, and it'll be the first time I tried that. Back when I used to do it, I did it the way everybody tells you how to do it, with sterilize everything and use yeast and all this extra stuff, and I'm just gonna do the old-fashioned way, how they used to do it. Figure why not? I think it works just as well, and you get something unique every time when you start using natural yeast, because they all, I guess, convert a little bit differently. They say you get different flavors out of it, so I'm interested to see how that turns out. I like to do that I like to make some mead this year too, but I'll see how it turns out. For now, I'm just gonna get them over into the buckets, break for coffee, see where the day goes from there. Alright, well, I just pulled the apples out the freezer. So these are a little over 3 gallon buckets, and then about half of here, so 3, 6, 9, 12, 13, roughly 14 gallons of apples. Pretty decent. A lot less when all the space is squeezed out of them, but we'll see how that turns out. I'm just going to leave them here. They're going to thaw out for the most part, and when they're good, and when they're when they're obviously room temperature, or when they're pressable, then I will commence with that. So I'm just going to leave them out here for now, let them warm up, and go from there. Alright, so I'm trying to deal with my potato issue, which is a good issue to have. I got a lot of potatoes upstairs, but they need to be stored. So I got this bin here that I inherited from the previous tenants, and I think I'm going to use this for this. This will be like my eating potatoes. This is what I'm going to use right away. So it used to be I converted it to more like a sand storage box to put like carrots in there. Albeit I'm going to try something different with that. I'm going to have to figure out a way to store those things. The only reason I would do sand storage at this point is to bring stuff through the winter for seed. not for eating. I got different methods for that, so we'll see how that goes. But I'll take most of the sand out, probably leave a little layer on the bottom, and then put the potatoes in there for the ones that I want to eat for the winter. And then I'll probably, on the other side of that door, I'll probably end up, I'm gonna try using one of these plastic totes. And then they got the lids here. They got like these plastic bins. I got a bunch of those, and I stored squash in them last year. I just have little holes in the lids, not much, but enough for airflow, I guess. Because those squash I got last year, they're still good. So it's quite amazing how long they go through. I picked up a few quite recently, and I'd like to use them more for the squash because I know that method works for them. So I'm just kind of figuring out how I go about doing that. It's either that or the old way of doing it was to hang them. I need to hang everything from rafters because I can't just store stuff in, I was thinking about making some potato crates, but they do have to be made in a way that it's rodent proof, because I do have mice come in here from time to time. Now I got a great predator that's sitting outside now, so that's a great investment. But as things go, it's they always seem to find a way in. But yeah, so I'm gonna come up with a plan for to make those things potato crate. I think I might make some potato crates, hang them from the ceiling, drape them with a cloth to keep the light out. But I'm trying to formulate some ideas here. Alright, so I kind of got a plan formulated. I'm going to get these potatoes cleaned up. So yeah, these all need to go. Well, they need to be properly sorted because I want my living room back. So, and the corn is getting to the point where it's almost ready to be shucked. I have some of it sitting in that pail. That's kind of like a test run. A lot of the really just the short ones. But yeah, I'll get this processed. So I got stuff. I'm thinking about just storing them in pillowcases, to be honest. I had some of those kicking around, but I might store them in different containers, see what kind of works, what doesn't. There's enough to try out. So, and it's just I always learn something new every year. So, yeah, I'm gonna go through these, start sorting them out, because I've always gone with kind of like a grade A, B, and C kind of a method. So A is your best of the best. These are the perfect potatoes. B, they're good, but they should be eaten before the A's, and the C's are more of anything that's got a pretty, it's got a blemish, it's got a hole that's needs to be gone before everything else. So that's kind of how I operate. A's are usually the nicest ones, and then they usually end up for seed for next year, and B's are actually considering the quantity. I know last year it was the C grades that basically got me through the winter, and B's a little bit through the summer, or the spring I should say, and the A's went into the ground along with some of the B's, and there's still a lot of A's sitting. Actually, I got a bag of A's down there, and I just gave some to the chickens, so from last spring, which are still actually, they're still viable, which was interesting. Anyway, I've yammered on long enough. I'll go get this sorted out. so the potatoes are cleaned up, as you can see. They're all stored away. I got 3 pillowcases here. I got this bag here, and then I got a separate bag elsewhere. This one here. I see if I give that one away. These are all the small ones. I'll find a spot for that still, and then everything else is sitting in that sand bin over there. So that was a pretty good haul. It's more than enough to get me through the winter. Right now I just need to get the I have to hang those pillowcases up, so I'm just gonna cut some cord here, cut it to length, and that way I can string them around the ends and then hang them from the rafters. That's the nice thing about the bags, you already have handles to hold them onto, but just a simple friction knot and little noose, and you basically hang them from the rafters. And that should be it for the potatoes. And then I should probably deal with the sunflowers outside, take a few of those for next year, and then the rest of them, there's not many, but they can go to the chickens. I got a few potatoes I set aside here. I like to just put them aside because I like the shape of these, so I like to see if I can get more of them, just because I know I don't have many of them. And I set these aside too because they have these colors on it, and I probably had more, but I probably didn't see them. And I still have a bunch of black schmutz on me. I don't like that. That's just what you get when you work. So these all have the red colors to some degree, except this one. That was supposed to be an immediate eat. So like that. Now I call these the Gorbachevs because they had got the nice little mark on them. And I took them from my parents last year. I'm like, oh, that's an interesting little red stripe on them. So I planted them in the garden, and I actually got something out of it. And probably wasn't on top of it, I should have been, but these ones I found, so I'll try it again next year, and maybe one day I get a yellow with the red stripes on it. So, yeah, then I'll probably have to look into this corn, see what that's gonna be, take the dry stuff out, start selecting a bit more for the seed on next year, and it's just look at the colors there. And the funny thing is I got more corn seed. I ordered some more already, but it's specifically a dent corn, so I'd like to put those genetics into, I guess, what I have here, and probably look a little bit more for that. I hear dent is better than flint, but we'll see how this all goes, storageability and all that stuff. I just noticed this one too. I had this before, another one. You have this, just this cross in there. It's interesting. So yeah, I'll go cut some rope, get the potatoes squirreled away, and then I'll go from there. Alright, so I got some rope mocked up. Now I'm just gonna turn them into kind of like a small noose, and then well, let's see, just gonna weave the pillowcase neck through there, loop it around, and then that should be, oh yeah, that'll work. Then yeah, I guess if you need potatoes, just with this method you would have to take it off the hook and then put it on the ground, open it up, take the potatoes out. But it's not like, at least for me, it's not an everyday thing, because I cook usually 3 weeks in advance. So, you know, once every 3 weeks to do that. And to be honest, I'll bet you most of that's going to go for seed, because the potatoes I have now are in my eating potatoes for the current foreseeable future are all in that sand bin. So this is probably going to go to seed. At least it would be nice. Or you know what I can do is take them out of there and just put them in the sand bin when it goes empty. That's thinking. So I'll get the rest of these strung up, and then I'm going to send it all down to the basement. Oh, there they are. They're all hanging away in the cool side of the, whatchamacallit, under the house. So alright, so I figure I put away some laundry. And I baked some bread, so I figured I'd go sit down, maybe actually eat something, then, well, I will eat something. It's fresh bread, I'm not going to pass it up. And then organize my thoughts. It kind of see what needs to be done. It's a little bit up in the air now because it's raining. No, it's not raining anymore, I think, but it was. Yeah, we had a pretty decent. Oh, it looks like it's still coming down a bit. It doesn't really pick up on the camera, I think, but it looks like it's still raining. But hey, I got fresh bread. So I'll sit down, figure out what to do at this point. I might, take a rainy day and try something out of the weekend playbook and just do something for fun. I might try that. I can't remember the last time I did that, but I might go out and do a little woodworking project, something. I want to make a pipe, like a tobacco pipe, because I got tobacco growing in the garden. I feel a nice little relaxation piece. It's the one thing around here. I don't like doing a lot of things unless I can't justify something like drinking or smoking unless I actually, I feel like that's something you gotta earn. So, at least in my case. So that's why I grow my own tobacco. That's kind of a remnant of my own past, but I kind of kept it with me, and yeah, it's not like the stuff you get at the gas station, but that's a different animal. It's just a relaxing thing. Go sit on the porch one day. I should make a chair for that, little rocking chair or something. I think that'd be fun because it's a good old time to sit on the porch and ramble about stuff to the cat. See all your little things, but either way I ramble on long enough, and then I'll see where it goes. Okay, so I'm making I figure I'd start my little woodworking project. So I've got I made a little, this is my little template. Just drew it on a piece of scrap paper. And then I had a piece of pallet material. So this is just a piece of oak. I cut, traced the piece on there. And that's kind of what I got. Put it on there. And then I drilled the top. And then I kind of, you just play around with the holes. And I figured out where that should go. And then it goes down there. And, they connect. So it actually, I can, if I were to, it's through. So I just have to play around with the hole sizing. And then, because this is my stem, and it's a straight stem. I wanted to curve it, but this wood is too hard for that. So, yeah. That's how I did that. I'll bring this over to a lathe, I think. Get that a little bit rounded nicely. And then this will be cut further back on the bandsaw to at least these dimensions here. I'll probably put it just a little bit lower there. A little deeper bowl. Just so that, because I think my lines are sitting somewhere around here. So I'll probably bring this in a little more. And then this will connect the two, and then I'll make something like a small. So this the entrance here and here will be slightly enlarged and I'll have to probably turn something on the lathe. Just a small piece of wood that kind of fits those two nicely, so I can bridge these diameters. So I'll find one diameter, so there will be the main diameter, and then the two ends will be enlarged, so that I'll make a piece that is the pipe diameter, and then the outer diameter for the two pieces that have them together, and that way they should be able to just snug themselves together with that piece in between, and then you can either glue that, or I've seen it before where they just wind twine around it. So I guess that if you wanted to remove it, you could. Maybe for cleaning. I don't know. There's probably a reason for it, but I'll just continue with this and gotta see where it goes. Alright, so I got some. So here's the piece. It's mocked up. It's rough cut, and it needs to be shaped. So I'm gonna head over to the farm, because that's where I have my lathe as well. So the idea is I'd like to, so I turn this, I drilled both ends, 1/4 inch. That end piece is 1/2 inch, and so is this piece. Everything is 1/4 inch, the pipe, and then I have this small cut off, and that's also 1/4 inch in the middle. But I want to turn the OD to 1/2 inch, and that's going to be the slip that's going to connect the two pieces. But I want to turn this on the lathe. So the idea is I got this 1/4 inch threaded rod. I can wedge these pieces nice and tight against each other, just with some, with the nuts to hold it in place, and then this can be chucked into the jaws, held in place. That way I can actually, I can't put this in the jaws. I need to turn the whole thing, so I could probably even put both of them on there if I wanted to. But that's the idea. So yeah, I'm gonna figure out. I got a small belt sander at home too, so on the farm there. I really should bring it over. I should find if I can get new belts for it, but that would help with this. I might take this to the grinder, like the bench grinder as well. Just try to rough it out and make it a little bit smoother, a little bit nicer to handle, and yeah, get those turned down. I guess this should be. I don't know what I'll turn. I guess I'll turn it down to whatever it gets to being circumference. So probably that thickness there is probably going to be the max thickness of this thing. So that'll probably be how that turns out. But yeah, that's the idea. So we'll see how that goes. Okay, so I figured I'd make a quick update. I didn't film nothing. I just did the stuff on the lathe and then a little bit of handwork. So let's see if I'm working on this one right now. So I'm trying to rough it out, and I'm just doing it with a flap disc, an old flap disc, mind you. So it's a rough go at it. I don't have a big belt sander, so it's kind of gonna have to do. So I'm just gonna figure out how to do this. I might try to find a knife, whittle at it a bit, but hey, it's coming along. Rainy day project. But I do have the the stem. This one turned out quite nice. So there's the end, and yeah, it's sanded. It needs a bit of oil, but that's about it. And then the I got the connecting piece. So it's a 1/4 inch hole, 1/2 inch diameter, and as you can see, it fits into the end there, and that's what's gonna fit into the other end of the pipe. Tight squeeze, but that's what you're going for. So that'll probably have to be tapped in, and then that one will be tapped in. This might still be cut down to size. I'm not sure what that is yet, but I'm just gonna keep plugging away at that one. Well, since I last filmed, some time has gone by. I had supper and then kind of just spent the evening with family. So I still at this stage, but I think I kind of figured out where I'm going to go with this now. So I got this this Dremel, and I got these bits with it, and I tried it on a much smaller one, is what I had in there already, but I'm going to try this one now, and that should hog off a good bit of material. And then I have this belt sander. So those bits, funny enough, I never ordered them. I ordered something else, and well, sometimes what you get with eBay is not what you order. So I got a bunch of those, and they come in handy now. So I should store that away. I'll try to hog away at that. And then this belt sander was one of the better auction finds. I need to find new belts for it. This thing, I've had this thing for ages, and it's just been sitting at the farm. So I figured I'd go and bring it over. Only thing with it is the screw's been lost over time, which is for the side wheel. But I need to find replacement belts for it. I should figure that out. What fits in there, order some, and because it's a nice little sander, an old Delta, so I can use that to polish things up in the end, or I could probably use the Dremel too. But we'll see where this goes, because yeah, I'm just gonna try to get a little bit more material off, because yeah, I was trying to with a lot of different things, like the flap disc and rasps and knives, and this is a piece of oak, so claws, man. Yeah, I'll see. And I think I tried to hit it with this thing too, but this belt is so worn that it's basically more of a, it burns it, which I'm not gonna lie, I kind of like the finish of that, so I might actually I might do that in the end, just make it kind of more of a uniform burn across the whole thing. But yeah, we'll see where that goes. Alright, we're getting somewhere, so you see this is starting to take some shape. So what I found was working quite nice is, yeah, that bit worked quite nice. I could hog off most of the material. I went in there with a rounder bit to kind of get into the sides of it, and then I tried hitting. I'm at the point where I'd like to start sanding it. So that's where I'm now. I'm gonna call it a day though, just because. Where's the belt? Oh, it's right here. So, it snapped on me. So, the downside is it did snap. The plus side is I can measure it now and see what kind of belts I need for this thing. So, yeah, it's coming along quite nice. And then, who knows, maybe I carve something in the side there just to give it an accent. But, that's how it's starting to look. I think it'll turn out nice, especially once this gets a coat of probably like linseed oil, just help pop those colors on there. This will get two, minus the interior of course, but yeah, I'll probably this might have to be cut down just a wee bit, but looks like it's coming together quite nicely. And then yeah, a little bit of sanding. Yeah, it's not maybe the most concentric thing in the world, but it's that's my first one, and first thing I really carved. Now that I think of it, and I've never really done wood carving before, but it should work. So we'll see how it goes. Yeah, if you watched this far, thanks for watching and take care.